Well, hey there, American Farmsteadhers. This is Donna from Hazelbell Farm here with my friend Jenny at the Gramstead Family Farm.
Hey, y'all.
And we are just two American farmsteaders doing our best to grow our own food and share our homesteading experience with you in hopes that you will grow a little bit of your own food as well. And today we have our friend here, Sarah. Say hi, Sarah.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, Sarah.
Hey.
We were really excited to have Sarah on as a guest because I feel like Sarah is the epitome of doing what you can with what you have.
Yes, she absolutely is. And I, for a while now, have referred to Sarah as my favorite yardsteader.
Yes. I love that.
Yes. That term just like fits you so well, Sarah, because you've done such a fantastic job in your little yard, your little postage stamp that you live on.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool. So, I mean, it just goes to show you that it doesn't really matter what size property you have. You can always start homesteading somewhere. And so a lot of the times I think the point is to just start.
Yeah.
Just to take that first step. So we wanted to bring you on to chat with you a little bit about your little yardstead that you have. And so tell us, where did you start? What was your first start?
My first start was with just basic gardening. So I always wanted to have garden boxes for my kids because I wanted them to know where their food came from, and I wanted them to be familiar with vegetables and things at just a young age. It's something so different when you have your kids out there and they're picking veggies off of the vine and eating them than if you're serving them a plate of canned green beans, which they don't like, And so I wanted to introduce my kids to like fresh food. And so I'm like, all right, the best way to do that would be to start a garden. So we moved here in 2005, and I think I started my first garden the next year, and it was just in the ground, and it was a disaster. Just weeds, and just I didn't know what I was doing. I just like dug up some of the dirt and threw some stuff in there, and we got some watermelons, which is funny because I don't usually have good luck with watermelons. So
it's funny.
And but that didn't go very well. So the next year we got raised bed boxes from Sam's Club, like the
Right.
ones that look really nice that are made of a composite. And this week we're going to be ripping those up because they finally started crumbling after like 17 years.
Wow, but they really lasted a long time.
They lasted a very, very long time. Yeah. So then I slowly started moving to raised beds, and then each year I just continued to add another raised bed, and I tried something else and add another raised bed, and it became like an addiction.
It is like that. And I can really say that's kind of how we grew our homestead. Like every year it was, okay, what are we going to do different this year?
Mm-hmm.
What new skill are we going to learn, or what new crop are we going to plant?
Or what did you learn from your experiences last year? I like the honesty that comes with the first year gardener of like, well, I did some stuff, but it was horrible.
Right.
I mean, like we've all been there. Everybody is there their first year,
Yeah.
But you grew something and you learned something and you moved on.
Yeah. What I think is super cool about first year gardens is I really feel like, or maybe not just first year gardeners, but new gardeners in general, first, second year, whatever. I really feel like God gives you one thing that you do successfully. Like for you, Sarah, it was the watermelons. And then who can grow watermelons? I can't grow watermelons, but you managed to pull that off your first year. And I think that's cool. I think God does that sometimes. Like, hey, I'm going to show you how really cool this is, just a little bit, to keep you motivated and keep you going.
Mine was broccoli in my first garden.
It was in the summer,
and it was in the summer when broccoli doesn't grow here.
Oh, wow.
It was crazy.
So that's cool.
Planting things that you have no idea like what season they're for. You just see that they sell those at Home Depot. Oh, well, they must be seasonal, and they're not seasonal. So it's just really just trial and error until you figure it out.
Yeah, and growing a little bit more every year.
Yes.
Tell us, about where your property was and when you started and what your vision was and all of that.
Yeah. So when we moved here, what drew us to the neighborhood is that there was a 40-acre tree farm in our backyard, and we had a corner lot. So we have the biggest yard in our neighborhood because it's a corner lot. It's a little bit less than a quarter of an acre. But this was a huge yard to us because we had lived in a little cookie cutter neighborhood with master plan communities where you can look into your neighbor's windows. And we had looked into different master plan communities when we first moved here. And we were like, we cannot live here because we have a truck and trailer and all this stuff that we got to park out front. And we can't live in an HOA. But we didn't have gardening or homesteading in our mind when we moved here. That was 17 years ago. So that wasn't really in my mind at the time. It's just, we just wanted a little more privacy and a bigger yard for the kids to play and not have to look into your neighbors. And so this property was perfect for us. It was in our price range. It had the privacy of a tree farm behind us that was zoned agricultural. And we did our research there. We're like, okay, this will be great. This is an agricultural tree farm. We don't have to worry about them bulldozing anything and building neighborhoods or anything back there. So that's what drew us here. And like I said, I started with one garden, and then I moved to raised bed gardens, and I had raised bed gardens. I've had raised bed gardens forever now, and that's primarily what I use is raised bed gardens. But so the goal was just, I didn't really have a goal. It was just, I loved gardening. I loved what it did for my children and bringing food into the home. And so I just continued to do it more. I didn't really have a goal of this is going to be like a self-sufficient homestead. So we had the property with all the nice privacy and everything in the backyard. And then in 2017, it was rezoned commercial. And without warning, one day they came in behind our property and bulldozed the entire property down, like smack, like bulldozed it down. And
no more trees.
No more trees. So if you go out of your backyard and you go from looking at a forest where you can't see anything behind you, and then all of a sudden you can see the freeway and you can see just bare, just wasteland and dump trucks and bulldozers. And this went on for a year, and they built a Costco back there.
In your backyard.
Literally in my backyard. So you would look out the window, and instead of seeing trees, you would see the building with the lights shining into our backyard.
Right. And we're talking like literally right on the other side of your fence. Like how many feet is the building from your fence line?
It looks a lot closer than it is.
It's huge.
It's huge. Yeah. I mean, you could probably, slingshot a rock at it and hit it. It's pretty close. It's pretty close. So when we had already been discussing looking for a piece of property because y'all have encouraged us with your gardening and your homesteads, and we're like, I really want this for my kids, so we had already been talking about it before a few years before that time, and the doors just kept closing with the things that we were looking at, and it just wasn't, the doors weren't opening for that. And then so after they built the Costco, and all our privacy was lost back there, and it just really, I was like, I really want to get out of here now. I don't want all of this here. I want quiet. I want a homestead. And still, again, just doors kept closing. And it was actually a pretty traumatic experience for me and the girls because we enjoyed being outside and we spent our days outside. We were in nature clubs and gardening, and that's just what we did. We lived outdoors. And so to have all of that just ripped away in an instant was really difficult. And so, a lot of people are like, just sell your house and move. And it's so much easier said than done, So that just was not a possibility. Like that was not a possibility for us at the time. So it took me probably about a year to come to terms with everything. And I actually didn't garden that much that year because we didn't have any privacy and there was construction going on. And it was just I just kind of let everything go. And we just went out of town a lot and just didn't didn't want to deal with it, And so after the construction stopped, and everything settled down with our property is when we decided to plant bamboo. So I had done a lot of research and asked around and was encouraged to try clumping bamboo, which is non-invasive and the roots won't go into your everywhere. And so we found a botanical garden in Gainesville that sells the bamboo, but it was very expensive. Somebody pointed me to a lady on Marketplace who was selling the bamboo clumps from the same bamboo from this nursery at a quarter of the price.
Nice.
Got an old lawn trailer and drove it out there and picked up 25 heavy clumps of Buddha Valley bamboo. And Super Bowl weekend in 2018, we dug up our yard and planted 25 clumps of bamboo. So I think that was the beginning of starting something new and fresh for my yard shed.
Very cool.
Yeah, that seemed to be kind of a little bit of a healing point, I think.
Yeah, I really
for you, for your girls, and for the actual land, for the actual soil, because you had all that erosion in the back along that fence line, and putting that bamboo, it needed something to like sure it up.
It is amazing, the root system of bamboo, just the rhizome and the grasses, like it's really cool. It just builds up really nice thick clumps, and it filled in all of the gaps and the holes. It drains really well. It's just amazing. So I had no idea what I was going to do with this when we planted it. I'm like, this is going to be insane. It's not as bad. We had a little rat problem one year that was really difficult after the forest came down. We've always had chickens, and so we would leave their food out, and that with the bamboo was an absolute disaster. So we had to change a lot of things around, and we only hand feed them now, and we had to figure out how to get it clipped back. So thank God we got that under control, because I thought I made a big mistake.
I love the actionable steps that you've taken there to not only, the benefit that you've gotten to not only create a fence of sorts, a living fence, something natural that your girls can see. And here you mentioned how pretty it sounds when the wind blows through the leaves.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. It's kind of spooky, but we love it.
Yeah, that's awesome. But it brings you back some, like you said, some peace. But you had to take steps to do that. It wasn't just going to come to you. You had to figure out how to fix this, how to remedy the situation. And the reason I like that is because I think that right now, we're in early 2023, there are so many people who want to get out of the city. They want to do what we're doing. They want to live rurally, but they can't for whatever reason. Either, land prices are sky high, or they have a job or a good school system, or whatever it is that keeps them where they feel stuck. And that's kind of where you were, was you felt stuck. And that's why we wanted to have you on, is because you've really taken these steps of action to be able to do what you want to do where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's almost, to me, it was almost like an act of rebellion too, well, I'm going to do this.
Yes. Yes.
Right. This will grow into your yard.
That's so funny.
Yeah, but it covers, you can, if you're looking and you're staring right into the backyard, you can see it a little bit, but it does the job. It covers, our bamboo's 60 feet tall.
Wow.
Oh yeah, and it's beautiful. And so what the great thing about that too is that when it started producing so much and it was leaving all this beautiful leaf litter, so then I'm like, well, I can't let this go to waste. So
right. What can I do with this resource?
Good.
So now every year we just get huge piles of just bamboo leaves, and they mulch fine. I've done a lot of research. I was afraid, is it going to mess it up? And, people said, oh, maybe roots can grow because it's invasive. I was like, well, this is the non-invasive clumping. Maybe it'll be okay. So I just used one garden bed just to be safe, and I just started mulching it with that, and I didn't have any problems with any of my plants. So now I use that as my primary mulch, and it lasts. It takes a long time to break down, and it just keeps the soil nice and cool. So I love it.
So do you use any of it? Are you doing any composting?
I was listening to your episode on composting, and
which we are not experts on by any means.
I don't really have the patience for that. Like, I tried to do something one year, and it like became a fire ant infested, and then they're like, well, leave the fire ants. I'm like, I have small children, they're getting their eaten up. No, I'm not doing this. So I do have a compost bin that you spin around, and you put the compost in there, but of course it's not going to make enough for large scale gardens. I have like 15 garden boxes, and then probably like 20 to 30 just bags of things going at a regular basis. So I'm not going to make enough compost to feed that. So I still do it in my little thing, and maybe we'll sprinkle it in like new things that I'm putting in the ground. But yeah, when I do add new beds, I dig the dirt out from under my chicken coop area, and then I mix that with all of our bamboo litter and the husks that come off of the bamboo. There's these big husks that fall down, and they're actually really pretty, and you can shred them apart, and they're really fluffy. So sometimes we'll go out there and shred a ton of those, and so I add that to like the bottom of any new beds that we're building. So like kind of like the hugelkultur type of thing. So I don't have a compost system in place, no.
Do y'all still have a rabbit? Because I know at one point you were using a lot of rabbit manure.
Yep, we have a pet rabbit. She's just an old rabbit that we rescued from a friend who needed a place for the rabbit to go. So my daughter takes care of her. So she's not a meat rabbit or anything like that. She's just a pet. But we collect her poo, and it just gets dumped in whatever beds we're in the middle of working on. So I always have like one empty bed that I guess is turned into kind of a bit of a compost pile. I just throw everything in there, and it gets stirred up and moved where we need it.
That's awesome.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you said you're up to 15 beds now?
Yes, it's ridiculous.
What size are your beds, or are they different sizes?
They're different sizes according to the spaces that we've squeezed them into. So
Right.
I love that.
So we're slowly getting rid of our yard, but without like demolishing it all at one time. So like every year we could take a little bit more of the grass away. So I have 4x8 beds. So they're 4x8. I have like 6 of those, and then I have a few 2x8 beds. So they're skinnier. So they fit into a better spot, and I have a walkway between them with an arch. And then I have a few 4x4 squares that are kind of put around, and then a big 8x4 out front as well. So yeah, they're
Very cool.
all
Very
all over
nice.
the place.
And containers, you said you're doing some container gardening.
Yeah, I last year, it was actually after 2020 when I was like really got dug deeper into wanting to grow more and more of my own food. And I usually had just gotten plants from friends or Ace Hardware or farmers markets. And then the ones that I couldn't sow directly into the ground is what I would purchase. But I'm like, I need to learn how to do this myself, because I'm not going to be able to rely on buying plants from people all the time. So it was 2 years ago is when I started learning how to grow from seed with grow lights. And then I think that is when more of my gardens and containers began expanding, because if you start seeds in a little seed cell tray, when you pot them up, that now you have 72 tomatoes.
Right. Right.
You don't realize you're planting that many.
You don't, because they're so little when they start.
And here, my husband and my kids, they just laugh at me because they're like, Mom, you do this every year. And I'm like, well, I just, all these plant lives matter, right? Baby seeds away.
Yes, they do. You baby those.
Yes.
So
Donna has a really hard time thinning her plants.
I do.
You know.
And I will save every little volunteer that I find, every tomato and every walkway. Oh, there's a new little baby, and I scoop it up and I put it in a pot until it's big enough to put in a bed somewhere.
I do that with my flowers too. I have like zinnias that pop up all over my yard, and I'm like, we gotta just up and leave them somewhere.
Everywhere.
That's how I got more into the grow bags, because I just didn't the time or the resources to build a big bed at that moment, and then to get all this stuff to fill it. So a grow bag is such a quick and easy thing where you can literally just go to Lowe's and grab some soil, put it in your bag. You can do the bottom of the bag like a little mini hugel, like, bed, and
sure.
fill half of it with leaves and twigs and sticks, and then you only have to fill the top half with just a little bit of soil, so you're not spending a lot of money. So I was doing the grow bags when I ended up with 120 tomatoes. And so we literally had a corner of the yard that we just called like the grow bag jungle, and it was just full of all of the things that didn't fit, and it kind of turned into its own area.
That's cool.
Yeah, cool. That is cool. I mean, the grow bags really work good for that small space, because like those 120 tomatoes, you're not going to have them forever,
Right.
So eventually you get rid of them. You can move the bags around. I really like them. They've got those. Have you seen her grow bags? They've got those big sturdy handles on them.
Right.
And
Amazon, and when they're on sale, you pick them up and move them. You can dump them out and they fold back up, and you can stick them back in your garage. So this winter, I only did about half of what I normally grow in the winter, just because we had some health issues going on with family members and just a lot of busyness. And so I still wanted to grow, but I just only did it halfway. So I cleaned up that side yard with the grow bags, folded them up, put them in my garage. So, you don't have to do everything every time and put it away and then bring it back out when you need it. So I like the flexibility of, having one section that's like a movable garden,
Sure.
Yeah.
It really shows what anybody can do on, the example is always given. And even if you're in an apartment and all you have is a balcony, and I think people get tired of hearing that, but it's true. If you have those grow bags, like you can do anything.
It's so true.
Yeah. You could do those. I mean, you could keep those in your house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
Or garage or something like that.
Yeah.
Like have like a couple of special plants or you're trying to keep peppers through the winter, and because here we can grow peppers through November. This year we had an earlier frost. A lot of my stuff, I lost earlier than I was expecting. But if you have them in the bags, and you can just carry them into your garage and save them, and maybe have tomatoes through December if you're lucky.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So you're gardening a lot, pretty big scale, for any family, not just for your family or a city yard stud family, but you're gardening pretty big scale. You have chickens, you have this renewable resource of the clumping bamboo that you're utilizing, and all the aspects of the gardening as well. And a little rabbit for the benefit of rabbit poop. Are you doing anything else? Have you done anything else?
I'm trying to do more this last 2 years, trying to find more things to grow that were simple, and that I could use for more things. So years ago, we tried to do citrus, and that was just a bust. And then when we had all the erosion in our yard, our trees died. And then I tried blueberries. We had a good blueberry patch for a little while, and then the birds were getting into them, and we built a frame over them with bird netting, and then birds would get caught in there. And then one of my daughters loves birds, and she's going to be going into working with birds for a career, and they would get in there in their wings. It was just a mess, and she'd have to go get them out. And so then we just ended up ripping that patch out because it was just in the way. So I'm like, I need something a little bit easier, less. So I have elderberry trees.
Oh, okay.
And that was just a really cool thing. I feel like God just gifted me with those after everything in the backyard was uprooted. There's a lot of wild elderberry in like the swamp areas and the ditches behind our house, and birds just came and pooped out elderberry.
Right.
And wild elderberry growing, and I started thinning them out and kind of created an area and let them grow into trees. So they're not like the wild bushes that you see on the road. They're like big elderberry trees.
Cool.
Yeah. So I really focus on pruning those every year and harvesting them. And we get about 10 to 15 pounds of elderberries dehydrated that I can dry and save a year from those trees. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is awesome. And, that is just such a cool testimony about how if you are just a good steward with what you're given, how much you get in return, So that's super cool.
Yeah, so that got me excited to try to do more like edible things like that were easy. So I think it was y'all that told me about Roselle. So I Roselle last year for the first time. But I think there's different varieties, and the variety that I had, I think you said, Jenny, it looked like trees, right? They were so tall.
Yes. Yeah.
They were tall and skinny, and they kept falling over, and I'd have to like tie them up to the fence, and they were a little like wacky, and I didn't get a harvest from them until like almost right at Thanksgiving. So they were a little bit different time frame. So this year I want to try the bushing variety. So I'm trying new things like that. I did try poha berries or ground cherries. Have you tried those?
Yeah.
Any luck with those? I couldn't get them to germinate.
I have, so in all of our moving and then moving again and then moving again, I have gotten them to just start to take off and then we move. And I know. And I understand that if you can get them started, that they'll come back year after year and that they're a great perennial. So I did have one plant do well last year, and I did save a little bit of seed to be able to start new ones, but I let whatever was there, I let a lot of them just fall in hopes that they would just come back this year. So I keep going out and looking because we're starting to see a lot of volunteers, but I haven't seen those yet.
Oh, yeah. So stuff like that. So I'm just trying to try new, like edible things that are easy, that are just good for the yard and the wildlife too. Like our elderberry trees are so tall, and it's nice because we do get a lot of birds, and my girls love watching the birds. So the ones that we can't reach with a small ladder just goes to the birds,
So, yeah, they love it.
Yeah. And then native, I'm trying to get into more like native pollinator plants is what I'm working on spring. So I'm trying to research on that, and I really want to do a large butterfly garden full of like native plants. So that's the new thing I'm working on, along with just expanding more garden beds for food.
That's cool. You do more growing for food though. You do you grow some herbs and like for medicinal herbs, right?
Yes. Yeah. I started I've always done like basil, parsley, dill, chives, things like that. But I am doing chamomile, and I have comfrey crowns in the ground, and and they're really pretty. Those are a good like chop and drop plants. You just cut those leaves off. You can give them to your chickens. You can throw them in your beds, and they bring like good nutrients to the beds. So I more research on medicinal things as well. So I'd like to have a big medicinal garden right now. It's just full of herbs and different things that I pick up, and hopefully they'll all take. I haven't had a lot of luck trying to start medicinals from seed yet before, but I'm trying now that I've got the grow light thing figured out. It seems more successful to start them inside than plant them outside. So that's
I agree.
Yeah, and you just start your seeds like right in your dining room. Yeah, you have your shelf right in between like your dining room and your kitchen.
Yeah, I do. I don't have a rack or anything. Yeah, I just have I didn't want to spend a lot of money on it, so I just have a cheap shelf we picked up, at BJ's or Sam's Club or something like that. And it didn't even have holes in it. When I got it, I thought it had holes in it, and it didn't. So my husband drilled holes into it, and we just hung zip ties. And so I have my lights hanging from zip ties, and when I need to raise them up, I just cut the zip tie and then I add another zip tie.
Right. Yeah.
Raise them up.
Really like cheap. It's really, it was like $15 for the thing, and we just, and so I actually do my seeds in giant barbecue pans, like the metal pans that you would smoke meat in or something. We always have those laying around for cooking. And so I just, as I'm potting them up, they all go in there. And then when I run out of room, I just carry them outside. And we carry them inside, and we carry them outside.
That's cool. That's great. It's perfect.
So, yeah, just because I don't have an outdoor area that's covered that, so, yeah, my living room, dining room is by my kitchen. So it kind of turns into our seeds, plant station for about a month or so. Oh, no.
That's nice.
Are you there?
Yeah. Yep. Did we lose you for a minute? Can you hear
Yeah,
us?
like it. Yeah.
Okay. Where do you see you guys going from here? Have you decided to be content where you are? Have you not outgrown your space yet? Or what are your plans?
Yeah, we're not going anywhere. Our mortgage is very affordable, and we've lived in our house a long time, and just the economy and everything it is, there's no way we could, right now. And just the thought of starting from scratch. I mean, the idea from starting from scratch is nice because I think I could see this is what I would want this to look like, instead of trying to squeeze beds in. But it's been really fun and eclectic to kind of squeeze the beds in, and it seems more unique and my style, I think, to squeeze everything in. So no, I feel like God really spoke to my heart that we needed to just bloom where we were planted, and so that's just what I'm doing. We're staying put until, God tells us that we're going to move. So hopefully one day it'll probably be when all our kids are grown and then our grandkids can come to our place.
Right.
We're here, and I just continue to expand more food that I'm growing. My goal is to grow enough to be able to not just eat it every day and without, shopping for produce, but to start preserving it long term. I've never had enough to do anything with at one time. That's why I'm growing more tomatoes. So I'm hoping to be able to start canning more and doing more preservation and stuff. And you can't do that if you aren't growing a bunch at one time. So that's my goal for that. We're probably going to take down our trampoline because nobody uses it anymore. And I think that whole area I want to turn into some kind of Seminole pumpkin patch or watermelon.
Yes.
So I think we're going to do that this year. Yeah, that's.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, another part of just ripping up and filling it with something else. Yeah, and we got more chickens this year. We're not allowed to have a rooster, even though we did have one for a little while. But so just making sure our chickens are happy and healthy so that they're laying and,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, it sounds like you have lots of good stuff coming up for y'all's little homestead for this year. And, and that's why we wanted to have you on. You're just a great example of, like you said, blooming where you're planted and just continually taking the next step, doing something new, which is why you have grown so beautifully where y'all are.
Aw, thank you.
Yeah.
It's not been easy. Or it's a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and just.
It's hard. It's not easy, but I'm always constantly reminded that the hard stuff is the good stuff, and that is the same in an urban farm as it is on a larger scale farm. And we say that we're like small farmers, but you really are the pretty cool urban farmer. Urban farmsteadher, yardsteader. Yes, yardsteader. That's what it was. I remember the word.
I don't think I would be content if I didn't have what we've created. To go out there and not have anything to, to do or a purpose. And so that's been really just wonderful to have that, space to go. And
your backyard is like such a little oasis when you're back there. Like you really you don't really feel like you're in a neighborhood or right behind a Costco. Like it really does feel like a little oasis. It's very nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, y'all have done a great job out there.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us. We certainly appreciate it.
Yeah.
To get your perspective and your story.
So it's been fun. It's been great chatting with you.
Ladies have been such an encouragement for me. When I see what you do, I'm like, I want to do that. So I'll start tried to do that, and then it just gets crazy.
Oh, I love it. I love to hear that. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's super cool.
All right, well, we're going to wrap up until next week, and where we will bring you another episode of American Farmsteadher. So until then,
y'all.
bye-bye.
Bye.